Hi everyone, this is Dr. Nitin Chhoda with another important episode of Ignition Time. Today I'm without my glasses, trying something new, and in this video I'm going to talk to you about an interesting, a rather surprising fact that you may or may not have thought about, which is people on unemployment benefits are actually more likely to search for a new job. In this video I'll go over three things. Number one, the myth of unemployment benefits depressing work. In fact, this was a recent article that came out in the Washington Post. I've actually been studying this subject for a few weeks now. Number two, research actually shows that unemployment benefits encourage people to find work. In fact, there was a research study from the Chicago Federal Reserve that basically said that a longer an individual remains unemployed, the more discouraged they get, presumably because of a lack of confidence, because of declining confidence. I'll dig deeper into that study. And number three, I'll talk to you about how you can get some hope in this situation. And you guessed it, I have another song for you. For those of you who are interested in the content, that's why I stacked the content at the start of the video. But for those of you who want to stick around with me towards the end of this video and chill with me, I've written another song for you to try and give you hope in this situation. With that being said, let's jump right into the content. The myth of unemployment benefits depressing work. So according to a recent opinion piece in the Washington Post entitled "The Myth of Unemployment Benefits Depressing Work," through no fault of their own, 30 million jobless Americans have had their benefits slashed. Many may soon face eviction, hunger, and bankruptcy. In fact, the Republican administration and specifically U.S. Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin specifically have mentioned they've cited examples of individuals being disincentivized to go back to work. In fact, the Treasury Secretary Mnuchin specifically mentioned a University of Chicago study on ABC News. Now, here's what's interesting. Almost immediately, one of the co-authors of the study, Peter Ganong, said no, that is not in fact what their analysis found, that individuals were disincentivized to go back to work. In fact, the study did not even look at whether these more generous benefits discouraged work. Now, what's interesting is there were 5 other studies that actually examined this specific question: do extra unemployment benefits actually discourage an individual from going back to work? These studies were conducted by researchers at Yale, the University of Chicago, University of California at Berkeley, economists from the University of Pennsylvania, the Federal Reserve Bank of New York and Glassdoor, and an economist at the University of Massachusetts at Amherst, and an economist at Evercore ISI, which is a well-known firm. All of them unanimously concluded the exact same thing, which was the $600 federal booster, the supplement, does not appear to have depressed job growth. In fact, the Yale economists actually summarized this and they said, "We find no evidence that high unemployment insurance replacement rates drove job losses or slowed rehiring." The Evercore ISI economist Ernie Tedeschi, who's very well known, also observed that in June, around 70% of unemployment recipients who resumed working had been receiving more in unemployment benefits than their prior wage, but they still returned to work. So the important question to ask is, why would this happen? Well, the answer is, according to a recent survey of elite economists from the University of Chicago's Initiative on Global Markets, what they found is that the main force that is holding back job growth is the firm's lack of interest in hiring. In other words, employers are not hiring. Where are the jobs? I mean, if you look at the comment section in all my videos, you'll see people asking, where are the jobs? Everyone's lost their jobs. Everyone's hours have been cut back. Because people are not hiring, that's why individuals are simply not able to go back to work. According to these studies, this has nothing to do with an individual's unwillingness to go back to work at prevailing wages. In fact, with US unemployment in double digits, which basically means there are more individuals than there are jobs, job vacancies have been significantly depressed and jobless benefits are temporary. Basically, most workers do not want to lose any shot that they might have at getting employed again. So in other words, individuals want to get back to work. It's just that the jobs aren't there. So that brings us back to the $600 a week federal booster. The hypothesis, the belief that this is actually discouraging individuals from going back to work. Fundamentally, if you look at these studies from reliable sources, from well-known, highly respected sources, including Yale University, that hypothesis, that belief essentially doesn't hold up if you look at these research studies. Now, let's be clear, there will be and there are cases where individuals who are making more money on unemployment would refuse to go back to work simply because they're making more money on unemployment. But these studies looked at the high level picture, the global picture, and they found that on net, and I quote from the Washington Post article, on net, higher government benefits are not currently depressing employment. They also found that if there are other factors that are affecting an individual or making an individual not want to go back to work, those may include fear of infection, nutrition or lack of childcare, which is a real problem, because if there are adults in the house and there are children in the house, who's going to take care of the children, especially when schools are closed, especially when daycares are closed? So those factors also play a role in an individual's decision to want to get back to work. So as you can see, this is not a black and white scenario. This is a pretty gray area that's actually affecting an individual's ability to get back to work. According to the article, if anything, research suggests that the $600 a week federal booster has actually boosted macroeconomic activity and therefore likely supported hiring. In other words, if individuals are likely to go out and spend more, then businesses will now hire their employees, which in turn creates more job growth, which in turn further stimulates the economy, because now an individual is able to get their job back, and when they earn money, they are likely to spend more money. That's how an economy grows, and that's how our economy was before this pandemic. These benefits have supported consumer spending. I did another video where I talked about credit card debt going down substantially, more so than ever before, simply because individuals had more money, had stimulus money. So essentially, when consumer spending increases, that helps retailers, that helps landlords and other businesses to keep workers on their own payroll. Now, like I said, I've been researching this topic for a few weeks now, and a few weeks ago there was an article called "People Receiving Unemployment Benefits Are Actually More Likely to Look for New Jobs," according to a new study. So in this article, the Chicago Federal Reserve essentially said that those who have exhausted their benefits are actually less likely to search for work than those who are still receiving them. Now think about that for a second. The longer an individual remains on unemployment, the less motivated, the less confident they are to go out there and look for a job. In fact, they end up taking lower paying jobs. In fact, according to the Chicago Federal Reserve, once benefits run out, their search efforts drop precipitously. So the researchers measured the number of hours in a week people spent searching for work and the number of job applications they sent out in the past month. The researchers found that those currently receiving benefits search more than twice as intensely as those who had exhausted their benefits. In other words, someone receiving unemployment benefits is extremely motivated to go out there and look for a job. Now, according to Jason Faberman, who's a senior economist at the Chicago Federal Reserve, he said some of the workers who exhausted their benefits are fundamentally different from those who find a job before exhausting their benefits. I thought that was a very interesting comment. He said those who find a job may be more highly skilled, but a loss of confidence plays a major role the longer an individual goes without a job. And this is the important part. This is something that's not really covered elsewhere. The Fed study also found that individuals who had exhausted their benefits are more likely to settle for lower paying jobs compared to the jobs that they had prior to getting on unemployment benefits, as opposed to individuals who are still collecting benefits. In other words, if I'm still collecting benefits and I get a job, I'm not going to settle. I'm going to want a decent job. But if I've exhausted my benefits, I start to lose confidence. I start to get a little bit more desperate, and I start to settle for a lower paying job, which is not what we want, which is not conducive to an improved standard of living over a period of time. So what the researchers wrote was that UI benefit exhaustion has detrimental effects on employment outcomes. Individuals collecting benefits tend to receive better job offers than those who are not collecting benefits, according to the researchers. Another analysis that was recently released by a team of researchers from the University of Chicago and the University of California, Berkeley at the Brookings Institute also found that enhanced unemployment benefits have not necessarily stunted economic recovery. Now, I will link you in the description below to the actual study from the Chicago Federal Reserve, so you definitely want to check that out and go through it in a little bit more detail. So on your screen, you'll actually see the article from the Federal Reserve Bank of Chicago. The article was entitled, "How Do Unemployment Benefits Relate to Job Search Behavior?" Only a fraction of the unemployed collect UI benefits, but those that do tend to search somewhat more intensely. This article goes into a lot more detail. Again, I will link you to the article in the description below. The article analyzes who receives unemployment benefits. It goes into a lot of information about the type of individuals and their background, the individuals who receive unemployment benefits. It also goes into characteristics of the unemployed, characteristics of non-employed by incidence of unemployment insurance receipt. In other words, how many are receiving benefits, how many have exhausted benefits, and so on. So you can definitely dig into that if you want. The unemployment benefits and the job search effort. This is a very important part of the article. This explains individuals who are on unemployment and the extent to which they search for jobs. I'll summarize the article for you in a few seconds. The article also goes over job search effort by labor force status and incidence of unemployment insurance receipt. In other words, it goes into a lot of detail about hours spent searching for jobs in the past 7 days, number of applications sent out over the past 7 days. It gives you an idea of how intensely that person has been looking for a job. Unemployment benefits and job search outcomes. What is the link between unemployment benefits and the actual outcome? Do the individuals actually end up finding a job? So you can definitely go through this article. There's a lot of information there. I'll summarize some of the conclusions for you right now. So here are the conclusions. We find that among the non-employed, those collecting UI benefits are most likely to be male and most likely to have a college degree. They are also more likely to have separated from higher paying jobs, suggesting that these individuals' skills differ from those of other workers in ways that are unobservable in the data. Nevertheless, we find that those currently receiving UI benefits search intensely for new work. This is the important part. This is sort of the core of the article. And their efforts appear to be somewhat greater than that of the unemployed not receiving benefits. At the same time, once individuals exhaust their benefits, their search effort drops precipitously. Finally, those collecting UI benefits tend to receive better job offers than those who have exhausted their benefits. So as you can see, everything starts to change once an individual has exhausted their benefits. And the article says this may be because the quality of job offers declines the longer an individual is unemployed. Regardless, both groups receive poorer offers than the employed or those currently out of the labor force. In other words, if an individual is unemployed, they are less likely to get a good job offer. But if an individual has exhausted unemployment, then they are even less likely to get a good job offer. So again, you can check out the article below. So everybody, that was the end of the content section of my video. Thank you so much for watching. I am going to ask you guys to sit back and chill with me because I do have another song that I wrote for you in this situation, and I'll explain why I wrote this particular song. But if you enjoyed this video, if you learned something new, please click the like button. Please also subscribe and please enable notifications so you get instant updates from me going forward. Now, I wrote a song because I believe that a lot of us need hope in this situation. None of us want to be dependent on the government. None of us want to be dependent on stimulus checks. We simply want hope. We want to be able to be realistic and we want to be able to get through this crazy situation. So I wrote a song to try and help my viewers and subscribers get through this. I believe that at the end of the day, we need to be able to cope with this situation. Some of us are on the verge of homelessness in this situation. Many of us are walking a tightrope in this situation. I don't want any of my viewers or subscribers to feel hopeless. I want the government to actually sit up and take notice of what's going on and take some action as quickly as possible, because a lot of us are going through a lot of emotions. That's why I wrote this song, Hope. This is dedicated to all my viewers and subscribers that are going through a tough time in this situation. So ladies and gentlemen, this is the premiere of my song, Hope, that was written for you. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you like the song.
This song is called Hope. It's my way of trying to cope with the new world, the sudden steep slope. I'm being examined with the stethoscope. Lately I've been feeling hopeless. I've lost my strength, my focus. On the verge of being homeless. Lost my friends, lost my closeness. Why did we get here? It's atrocious. I'm so angry, I feel ferocious. Government, sit up and take notice. I'm here because of all your bogus. Thanks to you, I'm walking a tightrope. When I elected you, I thought you were dope. I thought I was right, but nope. You're looking at the clouds with your stethoscope. This song is called Hope. It's my way of trying to cope with the new world, the sudden steep slope. I'm being examined with the stethoscope.